We are here at the LaROCQUE Bey School of Dance Theater, located at the Harlem Y.M.C.A. And today my guests are Luther Fontaine, Executive Director.
Hello, nice to be here.
Thank you. And Anthony Wooden, the Artistic Director.
How are you?
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to start out by asking you, Luther, the school has been here since 1960 in Harlem. I mean, give us the background of the LaROCQUE Bey. It's something that I've always grew up with.
Okay, well, that's really good because I don't think I have to say too much except for a few people who have not, heard of us, and we have about two or three generations generations that have come through the school, and then next we have other generations who haven't heard of us, but generations of people who are sons and daughters of those who have been here before. And we've been here since 1960. I've been associated with the school since 1969, coming from Kansas City, Missouri, and loving dance as it is. And LaROCQUE Bey has been a great influence on the Harlem community and New York State, as well across the United States and overseas, because he's made his trip over there. And it's been officially 32 years in Harlem, here. And has been a full-time cultural center, as well as a place for, finding talent, developing it, and moving on. So basically, 32 years, here in Harlem. We're working on our 33rd, and and we're having a good time, doing it. Unfortunately, the late great Mr. LaROCQUE Bey has, passed away, but his spirit is still here. And Anthony can tell us much more. He's our artistic director.
Would you like to add something to the background of the school?
Yes. I started with the LaROCQUE Bey School of Dance Theater when I was 13 years old. I'm now 32 years old, so we can imagine how many years that was. And when I started, actually I viewed a performance in the street. It was a street festival, which LaROCQUE Bey School of Dance Theater was always famous for, bringing talent and culture and the festivals out to the community in the street. I saw the company perform, and I was just really amazed. I saw the men dancing strong, jumping and leaping, and I wanted to take part. So I came and I joined the school, and the rest is history. Now I'm here as artistic director, and I would like to keep that going. I would like to keep the performances in the streets, in the community, so that other youngsters can also have the inspiration to continue their culture and also get off the streets, really, because that's what it's really all about, having the children doing something other than being on the street. Yes.
The philosophy of the teaching here, the teaching of the youth, do you want to add something to that?
Yes, to pick up off of what Anthony said, is that when he said keeping the youth off the street, right now, Mayor Dinkins is talking about safe streets, and this is a quote new term, but basically, as Anthony mentioned, the LaROCQUE Bey School of Dance, with the leadership of Mr. LaROCQUE Bey, has always been of that particular philosophy, and it's crime preventive, it's drug preventive, and it's totally structured so that it would be culturally enlightening as well as socially responsible as well. So those are the things that we are continuing. And as Anthony said, when he got a chance to see LaROCQUE Bey at a performance, I think of like a block party, well, when I first came here, I saw him at Cooper Union at the New York, what college is that college? In the Village. NYU, right, okay. and Cooper Union. And the thing is, my dance background was so similar, I was excited, so that's how I became part of it. And which means that when they say outreach, programs, and it's a word that is implemented on a regular basis through this particular organization.
I was watching the classes, and I noticed the discipline that you bring forth to the children when you're teaching them. Does anyone want to add anything to that?
Yes, well, discipline is extremely important, especially in the dance field, because we want them to be able to go any and everywhere, not just at the LaROCQUE Bey School of Dance Theater, but if they want to pursue in maybe jazz or tap or ballet or going out in the field, they would have to have that discipline wherever they go. Also, it's important for them to have discipline in their life. Period. So by them learning it here at the school, they can extend that discipline in their journeys through life. So that.
What's the summer program like that you're having?
Well, right now, we're in hopes that we're going to be funded so that we will have a nice summer program, and it'll be basically during the week. It will be emphasis with the teens, preteens, and teens, and it is a program that we will develop our, youth ensemble, so that we can have our presentations, for the block parties, Harlem Week, Harlem Day Parade, and it's basically everything that you had seen here in the classes. The same thing, it's just that it's intensive 6 weeks during the week. Plus, depending upon different sponsorships, we may be able to go do workshops at other places. But it's pending because you heard about the cuts that have been made. You hear us out there, we need some money.
Now, I know you have a fall program, so you might want to also mention to us. Now, when does the
fall terms usually start in September, usually the week after the Labor Day. It starts on Saturday after Labor Day. Yeah, it'll be September 12th. And what we do, as you've seen, we have the ballet classes in the morning. We have the tap for the children, and we have jazz. We also have the jazz for the children this year also, and the African dance classes, the African Caribbean dance classes, the drums, the African drums, which we have missed. Did we miss the drums?
No.
Okay, that's good, because the drums is very important, because they are the backbone of our culture. We know without them a lot of things wouldn't happen.
That's what I wanted to ask. You have drumming classes as well.
Yes, we have drum classes. I think we kind of did two things today because it was easier to do. All the young gentlemen that you saw sitting there drumming for Wash Dance, which is one of our numbers for Funga, they are our students who are in class, and we have, how many is that, 8? 8 children, young men, 8 years old, 10 years old, and we also have a adult class as well.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was going to say somebody my age that wants to come and join them. It's wonderful here. You do have an adult program.
Yes, yes. we have adult dance classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. So if you're around a little longer, you will see the adults coming. And these adults we're very proud of, because they take their special time out to come here. They have children, they have family, they have jobs and things that they also have to tend to, but they take the time to come and support us, and also learn the culture, learn the dance, and we're going to feature them in the concert.
While I was watching the class, I thought to myself, I'm going to rearrange my schedule to come here to take some classes.
All right. Oh, may I say one thing in reference to the adults? Last year, Miss Kimberly Lentz had come here to take African and Afro-Caribbean dance, our adult classes, and she happened to be the person that was one of the main winners on the American Gladiators, and think about 4 weeks ago, they just finished the grand finals, and she didn't win, but she was in the last of it, but she came here to LaROCQUE Bay School of Dance Theater specifically to get her body toned, and so we're proud of that as a success story.
Why don't you also tell me, I know you have success stories. There's got to be many success stories here. Why don't you tell me about some of the success stories here?
Well, the first success I would like to say is that we are continuing. Okay, that I would like to say. Many of the students that came from the LaROCQUE Bay School of Dance has gone on to Broadway. In fact, we have Luther Fontaine, who has gone on to Broadway.
I was going to ask him that too.
Yes.
That is Broadway background.
And we have also students who have formed their own companies, have musicians who had formed their own companies, traveled with other different companies throughout the states, throughout the country. If you look around and you see anyone who is doing anything, I can guarantee you that they have one time or another stopped through the LaROCQUE Bay School of Dance Theater.
I believe it. I believe it. Your Broadway background. Tell me
Yes.
some of the shows, major shows you
Major, okay, only the major stuff, okay.
I really don't know about that.
Well, last year I had the privilege of performing with Carmen de Lavalade and the one and only Patti LaBelle in a remake of The House of Flowers, which we thought was going to be coming to Broadway, which right now is still on hold, and it was directed, costumed, and choreographed by Jeffrey Holder. Prior to that, it was with, I performed with Tommy Tune Twiggy and the one and only Mr. Charles Honey Coles, who I was understudy in the the show My One and Only. And then there's been other shows, UB with Gregory Hines, who is the Tony Award winner now on Broadway with Jelly's Last Jam. And there's been many others. And then the one that I really enjoyed, which to follow with what Anthony said, there was Timbuktu with Eartha Kitt. And one of our alumnus, unfortunately, has passed away. It was Mr. William McPherson, who was also in the show, along with our drum instructor, Mr. Bradley Simmons, as well. Anthony had mentioned people who had formed their own dance companies. That's Earlise Vales, who is the sister of Nelson Vales, who was the 1984 Olympic cycling winner. And we had Alfie McClendon, who is a student of ours, who was featured in Once on This Island. Which is...
Gene Osborne Jr. was a student drummer here, and he has graduated and he's formed his own company called Jolet African, and they're getting ready to do a concert themselves next week, on the 20th of this month. And I can name many.
I know there's so many.
Let's not forget.
There's so many.
Forget Anthony, because he's gone on and he has performed with other, noted performing groups as well. So he's.
You did not mention one thing. Come on, Anthony. Let's
well,
drop some information.
I like to concentrate. I like to concentrate my energies right here. I don't particularly. Well, you want me to.
Don't be modest.
Don't be modest. No. Give us one. Just one.
Well, I studied dance at the City College at the Leonard Davis Performing Arts Center, and I had famous known instructors as Thelma Hill. You have the late Thelma Hill, God bless her, and we have Walter Raines, who is a ballet instructor with Dance Theater of Harlem, and we also have Tally Beatty, who was a I'm sorry, but
Don't worry about it.
Please forgive me.
When you're dealing with this kind of school, you have so many talents, so many names. Believe me, I sometimes forget my own name. But before we,
I would just like to concentrate all of the learnings and teachings that I was installed with. I would like to bring it and keep it here at the school. I would like to also concentrate on the technique which the great LaROCQUE Bey has founded and exemplified. I would like to keep it here. I would like the children to learn the foundation of the LaROCQUE Bey technique and take it with them and teach others, and so that we can continue a whole process.
Well, it certainly shows you feel that when you're at the studio. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. And you have an annual concert.
I thought you never asked.
You had that annual concert where all these students get to perform. Tell us when, where, how do we get tickets?
Okay, it's going to be at Symphony Space, which is at 95th and Broadway. It's going to be on Sunday, June the 28th, at 4 o'clock sharp. Okay, it's $20 for donation, for seats, and that's reserved seating. And we just hope that as many people come, and we have to turn people away. So they say you have to have another one, And I think that's what I can share with it. And what it is that you had seen today is part of what will be exemplified, along with the dance company, who we just had a warm welcome at Brooklyn Academy of Music for Dance Africa, which is absolutely fantastic.
That, yes.
Oh yeah, Anthony can tell you more about that.
Well, this was a very special time for us. This was our first time at the Dance Africa series, and we wanted to bring to Dance Africa the spirit of LaROCQUE Bey, which was never brought there before. And we took a lot of time and a lot of concentration, and to bring a true spirit, which was most of his choreography. It was restaged for Dance Africa, and we was very glad that we was well accepted. The audience appreciated us, and might I add, we got a standing ovation. So I think we're all happy about that. We're all happy.
Well, I want to thank you both for spending some time with us.
In the tradition of LaROCQUE Bey School of Dance Theater, we would like to welcome you, and we'd like to welcome everyone out there. And with Anthony's assistance, we say, Funga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe.
Something I grew up with.
Right. Funga
Thank
means
you.
welcome. Alafia means how are you, and Ashe means fine and good. That's your response.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for spending time with us. Don't want to miss the concert. And this is ATONIA Pettiford with G.B.T.V. Back to you, Harold.